Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you one of my new favorite fermented food recipes. This is an onion and celery relish. It's really quick and easy, and it's made with ingredients that you probably already have around the house. This is a really good recipe if you're just starting out with fermented foods, or if you want to incorporate fermented foods in your diet but you're not exactly sure how to fit them into your meal plan. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and then I'm also going to show you a few ways that I use the finished product. The ingredients for this recipe are really simple. I have my salt, of course, and then I have a yellow cooking onion, a few ribs of celery, and I'm going to use some mustard seed. These are the brown mustard seeds, but you could also use yellow mustard seeds, or you could omit them altogether. Now, when I first made this recipe, the first time I made it, I was thinking of using it as sort of a giardiniera on sandwiches. So I was thinking of like Italian subs where they all put the vinegar and the oregano. So the first time I made this, I added oregano, and it was really good, but I ended up using the final product in slightly a different way. So I'm going to omit the oregano this time, but you could add oregano, you could add red chili flakes or dried chilies, you could add coriander seed or celery seed or garlic or ginger. There's a lot of different ways that you can make this fit your taste exactly the way you want. And once you understand the basics of how to ferment vegetables, you can really experiment, and the sky's the limit with the different combinations you can come up with. Now, this is the way that I made this. I just tried it, I thought it would sound good, and I mixed it up and I really liked it, so that's why I wanted to share this recipe with you. So now I just need to chop up the onion and the celery. I'm going to cut it into about a 1/4 inch dice, and I want about half onion and half celery, so sort of a 50-50 ratio. Now I'm going to use the final product in things like chicken salad and tuna salad, potato salad, pasta salad, deviled eggs, things like that. And usually when I make those things and I use fresh onion and celery, I do about 50% onion and 50% celery. If you like different proportions, feel free to change this up to whatever you like. Once I have my onion and my celery mixed up, and it looks like about 50-50, I'm going to go ahead and add my mustard seeds. And for this, I'm just going to eyeball it, but I think I'll add probably about a tablespoon for this amount. Once I have all the ingredients that I want to use mixed up, I weighed this with my kitchen scale, and it was just over 1 pound. So my general rule is 10 grams, which is about 2 teaspoons of salt for every pound of vegetable. So I added 10 grams of salt, and I just mix it up and just let it sit, and the salt will start to pull the moisture out of the vegetables. Once your vegetables are all mixed up and salted, I like to take just a little bit and taste it. And you're going to be tasting your fermented product all the way through to see where it is that you like it. You might like it after 2 or 3 days, you might like it after a week. So it's a good idea to taste all along the whole fermentation, so you might as well taste it from the beginning so you know what you're starting with. The other reason I like to taste it before it ferments is so that you get sort of an idea of how salty it needs to be. Now, if you were to taste this now, you would say, oh my gosh, this is so salty, I will never eat this. But once you have it finished and you see how it develops its flavor, you will understand that you really need to add the salt in the beginning. And once you get an idea of how salty is salty enough, that will really help when you begin to experiment on your own. After about 15 minutes, you can see how the salt has pulled quite a bit of moisture out of the vegetables. It's pulling there in the bottom of the bowl. So now this is ready to pack into a mason jar. Now I'm going to pack the vegetables in a quart-sized mason jar, and I'm using a canning funnel just to make it a little bit easier. And you want to make sure you get all of the liquid out of the bottom of the bowl as well. I'm going to pack the vegetables tightly into the bottom of the jar, and you want to make sure that the liquid level rises above the vegetables. Any vegetable that's sticking out of the surface of the liquid is prone to mold, and that will ruin your whole batch. For something like this that's chopped up in little pieces, there's little floaters that will sneak out. So what I've done is I will put a cabbage leaf, or you could use like a lettuce leaf or something like that, on the surface of the vegetables just to keep everything underneath the liquid level. I'm weighing everything down with a straight-sided drinking glass. Now I'm going to cover the whole thing with a cloth napkin and set it on my counter to ferment. This is after 24 hours and it doesn't look like much has happened yet. It's been about 76 degrees in my kitchen, but it looks pretty good. The vegetables are still submerged under the liquid, so I'll just put the cloth back over it and let it keep going. This is on day 3. The vegetables have turned a little bit more yellow. They're not quite as bright green, and some bubbles occasionally come up. You can see if you press down on the glass, you can see some bubbles are coming up. And a few pieces have escaped from under the cabbage leaf, so I'm going to scoop those out with a clean spoon. But I'll just cover it up and keep letting it go. Okay, this is day 6 or 7, I think, and it hasn't really been doing much the last couple of days. Not any new bubbles, but it still looks good. The liquid doesn't have anything floating on the top, and there's no signs of mold or anything like that. So I'm just going to take this apart and give it a little taste. Now this is something I would keep in my refrigerator, and I would just use it a little bit at a time. So as it's in the refrigerator, it will continue to ferment. So if it's not exactly where I want it, I might still put it in the fridge. Okay. It has a good sour flavor. It's still nice and crunchy. I think I am definitely going to put this in the refrigerator. And once it's in the refrigerator, keeping the floaters off the surface is less of an issue. So I'm just going to put a lid on this and put it in my refrigerator. I'm going to show you a quick way that I use this celery and onion ferment. I have some chicken breast. This is just some leftover from the other night, cold, and some homemade mayonnaise. And I'm just going to add the chicken and a little bit of mayonnaise. And I'm going to add some of this fermented onion celery relish. And this will add the vegetables that I normally add. It'll also add a little bit of like a vinegary taste from the, I'm going to add a little bit of the brine in with it. So that would replace any vinegar or mustard that you would add. It's got the mustard seed, so you'll get some mustard flavor when you bite into the mustard seed. It has the salt, it has everything you need. So just like that, I made a really quick chicken salad. You can do this with tuna. You can do it with pretty much any sort of cold salad that has a mayonnaise base or an oil and vinegar base, like a pasta salad or a potato salad, and it's great. So these things are cold foods, so you'll preserve all of the good bacterial benefits of the probiotics in the fermented food. So just think of all the cold foods that you use. You can add it to salad dressings that are going to go over green salads as well. So anything cold you could add this to and maintain the good bacteria. So here's just one way to use this. This is a really great ferment. I hope you give it a try. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you give it a try. I'd love to hear how it turns out for you. Thanks so much for watching.